Welcome to the Big Mike Fund Podcast, where you learn about advanced wealth building strategies from real estate investing to creating massive ROI and secured retirement profits. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, grab a notepad, and lean in. Because Big Mike has got the mic, starting now.
Welcome to the Big Mike Fund Podcast. I'm the Big Mike Zlatnik. Today, it is my distinct pleasure and a privilege to welcome Mike Jordan. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great. And how are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for joining. And you are hailing from Detroit, Michigan. How's business in Detroit? Tell us a little bit about you. Who is Mike? And a couple of things about you, your family, and your business.
Sure. Well, to answer your first question, business in Detroit is great. As you know, we do a lot of business with you, and we really appreciate you. We're able to do a lot more business because of you, so that's greatly appreciated. So thank you. We've been working with you for quite some time now and built a relationship, so that's excellent. And just a little bit about me. What we do is we're a turnkey operation, so we aim to do 250 to 300 turnkey properties per year, which we buy, we renovate, we get city inspections in, we make it aesthetically pleasing in the home, nice kitchen, nice bathroom, city certified, and then we place screen and qualified tenants through our property management company, which is ProWay Property Management. It does a great job screening the tenants to make sure we're putting the right tenants in the property and managing the property the right way. The tenants are our clients, so our property management company does a great job. We manage over 1,000 properties, and we really have a high collection rate. And I think that's due to having great property managers, great systems, processes, and procedures in place. So a little bit more about me. I am married to my wonderful, beautiful wife, and I have two beautiful daughters, and so we have a growing family. I just had actually a daughter 3 months ago, so she's unbelievable, just like my first daughter too. So that's wonderful. This is what we, for me personally, what I do all this for. It's not only to build a strong business and make money, but to build a legacy that could live on past me, and also give to the world more than I take. So that's what I'm trying to teach. My goal is to teach my children is to be great human beings and create jobs, give back to communities, and do a lot of good things. So that's a little bit about me and my family. With me, I've been in business since 1999, since I was in college. And I actually used to, between my classes, I would go to my car and I would make my sales calls. And, I had a construction business at the time, was a painting and construction company, and built it up. And, the story goes from there. I built up this company. Eventually, by 2002 and 2003, I had 4 salespeople, a project estimator, office manager, and we were doing by 2004 and 2005 around $4.5 million in sales. So I was like, wow, this grew quick, but it grew from having a vision, being persistent, and really putting the client first and delivering good service and a good product as far as the work that we've done. Since then, I was able to establish a turnkey company. I've built homes in the past, so then that went on to me being a landlord. I became an accidental landlord. Becoming an accidental landlord when the market went down, then I started buying homes, renovating them, and keeping them as rentals. Bought notes, defaulted notes, turned them into either reperforming notes and sold them off, or took the home back and became a landlord. That also created another business, which we became an accidental property manager. Not by choice. We actually used to farm the property management out because we're like, wow, hey, listen, we want to concentrate on what makes us money, and what makes us money is flipping these homes. to turnkey investors. But then we realize that, finding a property management company that's going to do it as good as us is very hard, because we're going to take care of the client. We know the home very well. We know what's going on with it. So we became an XNL Property Management Company, which now manages over 1,000 doors. By the end of this year, we'll be at about 1,500 doors. And
yeah, let me jump in. So first of all, thank you very much for the great introduction. I wanted to say the most important thing is the family, and congratulations on the birth of your second daughter.
Thank you.
So that's the most wonderful thing, to be a daddy, and that's the big why. I have 3 girls and a boy and a cat, and I know the drill. So it's certainly a lot of joy to your heart to see a kid grow.
Absolutely. Mike, I think you mentioned something right there that's very important to me, to have a why in business. And for your listeners who listen to you on a regular basis, I think that why will make you do whatever you do that much better, if you really have a purpose and a why. And for me personally, it's faith, family, health, community, and wealth. And I put it in that order because that's the way I look at it. And, that's my why on a regular basis. And that's how I live my life.
Let me interrupt and crack a joke that reminds me. I absolutely agree with you. Those are the right priority. Faith, family, work, right? That's the right order. But I remember working in the corporate world years ago, and we cracked this joke. The family is supposed to be first. The God's supposed to be first, family second, then work. But as we used to say, we pray to God that the family understands that the work comes first. It was a horrible joke.
This
is when I worked.
Yeah.
When I worked in the IT world. This is when I worked in the IT world. Now the world is different. Now, for sure.
Yes.
Priorities are straight.
No, that's awesome. That's funny.
Let's talk a little bit more about your market, and I greatly appreciate the wisdom. For sure, people need to have why. But let's talk a little bit about Detroit. So what does a typical turnkey look like? When you sell a turnkey, and I'm extremely happy that you have in-house management, which is very, very valuable. When people buy a property from you, they want to know that a great manager will be there. So if you rehab the property and you're managing it, you know the property. So at this point, let's talk about typical property in Detroit. What do you sell it for? What kind of rent roll it collects? What kind of net operating income after the expenses, taxes, insurance people generate? Just give me a ballpark idea. Typical property.
Absolutely. So typical property is around $65,000 to $70,000. It's around $850 rent. And Detroit is quite a large place. So it's 140 square miles large. So you have people that might sell a property for $55,000, but it's not renovated the right way and it's not in the right location. So we concentrate on the right location, renovating it properly and putting the right tenant in there. And that's why we have a lot of success. So that's our sweet spot, 65 to 70. And then when you go up, let's say you go up to about $80,000, you're probably looking at about a $1,000 rental. And then the higher up you go, your rent is probably getting higher and higher.
Yeah, that's great. Summary. You have a strong rent to value ratio. You're well above 1, which is kind of the benchmark of this industry. Typically, $100,000 properties trade around 1%, $1,000 rent,
right?
$1,000. But when you're below, you're in a 65, 70,000 range, and your rent is $800, $850. That's a good cash flow.
Oh yeah. I think we're one of the best in the country, honestly. Like for if you want to pick areas that are strong, that perform well, that will have good tenants in there, and a good rent to price ratio. I love Detroit, and the thing is, we always do concentrate on location. So that's important. We, our clients, we want them to come back, for many years and be happy for many years.
So let me ask you an important question. Location. So years ago, I remember the joke was you could get a property in Detroit, I guess a little bit in the war zone, just pay the taxes due on a property.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're not in very rough areas. You are much better areas.
No. There is what I consider B area, C area, C minus, and then D. We don't go. We're C and B areas. So in the way that you could also for listeners, they could also understand that is you look at the rent rate. If you're getting anything below 750, that's a rough area, and I think in many places around the country, when the rent drops, that is indicative of the area also. So not only rent rate is an indicator, but you could also look at, the days on the market, the comps. So if there's homes sitting, for a long time on the market, that means it's not an area where people want to live. Also comps. You take a look at comps. If there's comps that are, in the 30s and 40s, that means that the area is a little bit rougher, and you got to be careful of those areas, and that's the areas that we do not go into.
Understood. But what's tricky is this, and this is always when you're looking at the comps. Just one comment about the comps is you're buying in an area, you may be buying it, and then you're rehabbing the property. You may be buying for 30, 35, putting in a good amount of money, rehabbing the property, and then selling it 65, 70. And when somebody's looking at the comps, they might see a $30,000 comp. How do they know it's a sale of a rehab property versus a property that needs a lot of work?
Well, you know what? That's with Zillow and Trulia, what they do is they're a data they're data. I look at they're a big data company, right? They look at square footages, they look at previous sales, and you may have a lot of sales in the area that are selling for $35,000 or $40,000, but the data doesn't know that you went and put in there $25,000 or $30,000 to renovate that home and bring it up to its true value. Also, another way to look at it too is sometimes when you get into that price range, you got to look at the value of your return on investment. Sometimes the comps aren't as important when you're in that lower range of 50 and 55,000, 60,000, 65,000. I look at it. What is the return on investment? What's the stability of the area? So that's where, comps actually I don't think are as important. Can you put it on the MLS to sell it to a homeowner for the price that you sold it for? Yeah, you could. Absolutely. We see it all day. So, but I think like I mentioned, Zillow and Trulia, they are just, they accumulate a lot of data, and sometimes they do confuse a buyer because they look at it and it just statistics. And I think it's based on square footage and based on, your number of bedroom count and things of that nature. It's not based on what is in the home, or is the home renovated and rental ready, or is the home what kind finished. No, it's just looking at the square footage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that's this is I don't want to call it a global problem, but a global observation all over the United States. When you look at data from Zillow or other sources, it does not speak renovation, state of the condition of the property. That's one of the biggest challenges. And appraisers too sometimes struggle because they can pick up a wrong comp. So I totally get it. So, but for sure, working with you, been happily working with you for a while now, and you've been doing great work, and you're turning and burning. I mean, yeah, in a nice way. But the good news is you're managing them past sales. You're doing property management, which is really important in this key business. There's absolutely nothing more important than the management. When people buy them, they buy them for long term. They're not buying them to flip. So when they buy them long term, they need to have easy process to deal with the property manager, to get good cash flow, and don't get aggravation and don't get nickel and dime for every little thing. Because some property managers will kill you that way. That's that whole, so it's a massive revenue source for them to charge you $75 for broken fence when the fence is really totally fine.
Mike, so we look at it this way. So let me talk about 2 points here. Number one, we don't do that because, number one, it's unethical. Number two, if we did that, imagine the respect that I would get from my staff. You're going to train them to think that way. They're going to have a lack of respect for you. You're going to have a revolving door, and it's not a good feel. It's not a positive feel. It's not a good environment. So there's really two reasons. Not only it's unethical, it's ethical to do the right thing, but also you're going to eventually hurt yourself too. I promise you. So that's why, it's best to do things the right way. My second point was I was going to mention, with our clients, what we do is I have extreme passion for taking care of our clients. We meet and we have our department meetings on a regular basis. And if we had a client with any kind of hiccup, they go on a list. And that list is a client that had a hiccup. It might have been, whatever, a tenant got evicted, but they settled and they moved out or whatever it is down the line. So they're in there for 2 years and they didn't renew their lease, or, the last month's rent they didn't pay, whatever it may be. But I try to put them on a list, and we never forget about them. We always want to throw them a nugget because they are our business. It's important for us to take care of our clients. And, these are just little things that I do because we want to keep our clients happy. Do they know that there's hiccups in real estate and real estate is imperfect? Of course. If anyone says that, they have a perfect process in real estate, there will be never a hiccup. There will never be a late payment. There will never be a client that moves out of the property. It's not true. That I would be scared of that person actually, because they're not telling you the truth. So what we do is we put all the processes in place to be able to handle those situations the right way when they come about. So my point is that we really do try to take care of our clients the best way we can, and when there is a hiccup, because when you're managing over 1,000 properties, if I told you that we don't have some hiccups throughout the year, it's not true. You're dealing with people. There is hiccups, but it's a way that you resolve the situation which defines the success for the client and the tenant.
Yeah, that's a great way to build long-term relationships. I certainly appreciate your client care attitude. At the end of the day, the value of your customer and that customer relationship in the long run is far greater than a couple of bucks that you can make.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I'll tell you, Mike, I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, it's because of, relationships like you and lenders like you that we're able to do, if we were able to do this much with a guy like you, we're able to do this much. And, I always say, clients come in our office and they're thoroughly impressed with our processes, procedures, and systems, and most importantly, people, that are here, and I say, hey, we have great results. We have clients lined up for our properties, but we always welcome more clients to come in. We have the money to buy the properties. We have the systems and the technology and the routes to locate the properties. So you're going to be successful if you follow the right path.
I greatly appreciate everything you said. It makes a lot of sense. I think it's the right approach to business. I'm sure you have great core values, and that enables the office to operate from the right state of mind, the right attitude, with the right focus on the customer and delivering a customer success story and happy customer. They say happy wife, happy life. But in business, it's happy customer.
Happy business.
Happy business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, we do have strong core values, and that's the one thing that we hire based on. When we hire someone, we tell them, hey, this is our core values right here. And, we ask them, what are your core values? So we like to hear what their core values are. Then we show them ours, and we say, can you meet this? Is this something that an environment that you want to be around? Then we go through the process. We bring them in for a couple of days, and then we do a background check. Then we do some profile testing and whatnot. But everything we do is there's a rhyme and rhythm to it. And if you have that core values that flows into your core focus of being customer centric, you'll be successful in any business you're in. I don't care if you're baking cookies. You're going to bake the best cookies possible and make sure that your clients are eating good cookies if you have the process, systems, and people in place with the right focus and core values.
I couldn't agree with you more. Mike, we're a little tight on time, so a couple of quick things. If folks wanted to find you, if they wanted to buy one of your properties, how do they find you? Is there a good website?
Absolutely. Strategyproperties.com. That's the best website to go to. That's our main website. that features a lot of informational content on real estate investing as well as properties that you can buy. So it's strategyproperties.com, and that's the best way to go. And you can take a look at what's going on in the Detroit market. We're constantly, we have a videographer that's coming out soon and doing a whole video of the whole market. So we do this every so often where we get updates on what's going on in the market. And you'd be pleasantly surprised if you came to downtown Detroit. You'd be like, wow, this is mini Chicago. And jobs are here. You just heard about, I don't know if you guys heard about the Chrysler plant that, just announced a billion, I think $1.3 billion in renovations and X amount of thousands of jobs. But it's not only the automotive. You have the automotive. You have, for technology, we were top 10 by ZipRecruiter in the last year or two. So it's diversified. There's a huge medical sector in Michigan. You have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 suppliers of Ford, GM, and Chrysler. You have the casinos here. You have 4 major sports teams in downtown Detroit. You have a lot of entertainment out here too. So I mean, it's a great market. I mean, there's 10 million people in Michigan. It's one of the larger states in the country as far as people-wise, population-wise. So yeah, there's there's definitely jobs out here, and there's definitely people working out here, and there's a bright future.
Yeah, I very much appreciate Detroit. I guess those of folks who think of Detroit as the rough city at this point, that's a past, way in the past, and it's a modern, growing on many fronts city, and
I agree.
It's a land of opportunity. So
I agree, and I always look forward to having people out to the office, because when they come out here and do a tour of our office and even see our educational platform room, we have an educational room in there that we do courses, and we teach people on how to locate deals, how to renovate, how to property manage, how to disposition strategies. And when they come to our office and they see all our departments, and then they go out and see the homes, it sells itself. It really does. I mean, we just give the facts, and people can make their own decisions.
Yeah, that's great. Just very quickly, do you do property tours? Do you ever bring your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. We probably do. Personally, I hate that the sales department doesn't combine them more often, but we do about 2 to 3 property tours a week. Because a lot of individuals coming on their own, and we probably do about 3 or 4 larger ones a year. And I think we have one scheduled in May. People, when they go on our website, the first thing that pops up on strategyproperties.com is, set up a tour. And then, we get people out here and let them see it for themselves.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Doing a property tour in May in Detroit is absolutely best time of the year.
Yes.
I was going to crack a joke. Why don't you do the property tour in the middle of February? But I guess it's a little too cold.
No, we don't want to do that. We're right around your temperature over there in New York, so it's same type of temperature. So we'd rather do it in May.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny how it is, these big cities where there is some level of humidity and it's too hot in the summer. The best time of the year to come and to deal with the local weather is typically late spring, like May,
sure,
Christmas time. Beautiful, cold. It's cold, but snow, the festive environment. So it's either May or December. But February, no, I guess. I happen to have a lot of appreciation for cold weather and snow. I love it. But most people don't want to enjoy flight delays and the bad weather. Anyway, Mike, we're out of time. I greatly appreciate your thoughts.
I appreciate your time too.
Any parting last thought? 30 seconds. Any other final comments?
Last thoughts, I just, encourage listeners to get as much education as possible on real estate, listen to podcasts like yours, I have a podcast, Unique Wealth Education, also. Just put yourself in the best position by being educated and surrounding yourself with the best people possible, and do well. And that's I always like to give nuggets out to listeners to try to, if they're newbies or current investors, just network, surround yourself with the right people.
I agree with you. Live and learn every day of your life. Life is a journey, educational. You're growing wealth, not in terms of dollars, but in terms of your own knowledge, and growing yourself is more important than growing a bank account.
Absolutely.
Mike,
knowledge is wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon, and appreciate the opportunity to be of service and be working with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your business. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Big Mike Fund Podcast. To receive your copy of Mike's How to Choose a Smart Real Estate Fund book, head to BigMikeFund.com or visit Amazon and type Mike Zlotnick. Keep listening and keep investing Big Mike style. See you on the next episode.